Hollywood's inextricable action star, with a steely stare in his eyes and a daredevil performance in all of his movies, rarely utters a word in front of cameras. Yet, when he does, it's an explosion. In a jaw-dropping confession, Statham spilled 6 names of actors he abhorred working with. While these aren't your everyday dislike, but a complete feud, each name on this list will be dissected, every motive behind this hatred will be uncovered, and all the backstage intrigue will be laid bare, which tabloids barely touched. Were these personal feuds deserved, or is everything not as black and white? Here's Jason Statham in a manner you never knew existed before. Number 1. Vin Diesel. Nobody saw this coming when Jason Statham finally blew up with a complaint, but Hollywood trembled with aftershocks. Statham, famous for being cool under pressure and deadly accurate, had finally had enough, but it wasn't because of an action, a script, or a producer. The problem? Vin Diesel in a nutshell. Fans assumed all these years they were just a brilliant acting performance. They were not. Everything started on a film set in Hobbs and Shaw. Though Dwayne Johnson and Statham seemed to laugh their way through public appearances in support of their film, Diesel seemed to be a distant presence or not show up at all, which added fuel to rumors of an evident feud. Eventually, Statham did confirm this. The experience of working with Diesel was akin to babysitting a teenager with a bodybuilder's physique, he stated in private comments, citing continuous demands for rewrites in order to make it seem as if Diesel's character had more control. Battery recharge. A professional feud soon escalated into a personal feud because of work ethics and an unstated struggle for screen space superiority. Statham remained neutral when questioned publicly about the feud between Diesel and Johnson, assuring a reporter that he did not want to become embroiled in an ego struggle. He meant this strongly. Diesel never went head-to-head with Statham, but thought of him as a rival who threatened to upstage Toretto in a series based on a character's legend. Their animosity eased when they stepped aside and let Hobbs and Shaw give both actors room, but they never severed ties completely. As a collective unit in 2025, they maintain professionalism but keep a safe distance. Statham acknowledges respect and accuracy. Diesel respects control and legacy. They come together when need demands, but in their personal lives, they are worlds apart. As Statham so crudely explained, to have to deal with the ego in order to deliver a performance? No way, forget it. Everyone, including Hollywood blockbusters, have limits. Number 2. Steven Seagal. Jason Statham does not have a reputation for talking trash, but when it came to name-dropping Steven Seagal, Jason Statham lost it. A man known for discipline, reality, and authenticity suddenly had none of those qualities when talking about this particular individual. As far as Statham is concerned, action flick cinema is not all show. It takes work, it takes sweat, and it takes respect. But Statham feels this is exactly what Seagal lacked with regards to martial arts. The jibe cut deep because Statham meant every word. His career is based on real combat experience and hard work, and by contrast, Seagal's reputation had become tainted with ego, hyperbole, and a series of bizarre scandals. Seagal is not an icon to me, Statham says, he's a warning. Seagal, predictably, hit back in characteristic style, derisive and bombastic, saying Statham is nothing more than a stuntman and not in the same class. Statham's stance did nothing but support Statham's claim. The rumors in the industry about Seagal's arrogance, hubris, and show-off machoism for all these years suddenly seemed very true. Analysts claimed this feud had to come. Statham is all about discipline and reality. Then, of course, there's ego and show business in the form of Seagal. His ideologies will never mix. No trade of forgiveness took place, but complete silence instead. Statham walked away without a second thought to fix something he never valued in the first place. Meanwhile, a delusional Steve Seagal remains in his bubble, discouraging naysayers with a credibility deficit. For Statham, Steven Seagal is not competition. He is a consequence of ego over talent and a symbol of how Statham will never become. Number 3. Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is a kind of actor who brings a storm into every project he joins. Jason Statham is a kind of actor who will not work under one. Their feud did not blow up on a film set or at an award show. Their feud began with a project they never developed and two vastly different views of professionalism. As Statham describes, trouble began with early talk of a movie the studio was very much in love with. Statham wasn't. He thought LaBeouf wasn't right for the part. When this got back to LaBeouf, the message he sent, Statham continues, wasn't very professional. He didn't go into detail, but he didn't have to. He had a reputation for this kind of thing, meltdowns, arrests, fights, and all manner of method acting stuff. To Statham, it was simple. Some actors want to be tortured geniuses. Statham wants to complete a task without someone suffering a tantrum in their trailer. When an actor is asked not to repeat a role, they don't react with this level of venom. The rejection did not go unnoticed by LaBeouf. He was furious with being rejected and allegedly fired back with this scathing rebuke. "You're a mechanic with a punch." The rivalry heightened when news emerged that Statham is in line to join the Transformers series during a time when LaBeouf is leaving the series, with Statham's own love interest, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, already a part of it. Sources have stated that LaBeouf believes he's being replaced in Hollywood in an overnight manner. Being a star with box office returns in the billions, it's hard not to take this personally. A disagreement that should have remained trivial escalated to a philosophical split. Statham prioritizes discipline, focus, and being ready to go. "Chaos breeds creativity," says LaBeouf. Neither man respects the other's approach, and neither gives an inch. They deliberately avoid each other, never work together. And when asked to describe each other, Statham sums it up. "They're not in our line of work." Behind Statham's placid assessment is a truth Hollywood insiders already grasp. Some feuds don't require attacks to make a lasting impression. Number 4, Jared Leto. Jared Leto is one of those actors you notice when he walks into a room, because he gives you a sense of shifting temperatures immediately. Then you have Jason Statham, who is not going to allow anyone to squander his time. Combining both of these actors in one room meant a collision was bound to happen. The animosity allegedly began when both actors were approached for a psychological thriller, which never went into production. Statham thought this would be a simple creative session. Leto showed up in character, did not shake hands with anyone, did not respond to being referred to by his given name, but referred to all of them in third-person terms based on a role he wished to portray. Statham was shocked. Later, he put everything into perspective with a one-line explanation when asked about this incident in an interview. They were in a coffee shop, and Leto had to leave this character thing behind. That put an end to their cooperation right away. Statham went his way and did not try to hide his frustration. Asked about method actors in an interview, Statham took a very cautionary approach with a warning shot about being a nuisance when it comes to actor devotion. Leto, predictably, wasn't quiet about this. With a hint of a smile and in characteristic coded language, he answered, "Well, some actors punch, and some actors disappear. And if they fear this, perhaps they fear the truth." The point was clear. Leto portrayed himself as an artist and Statham as a brute. Ever since, the demarcation line existed. Statham does not pick projects in which Leto acts, and Leto takes this criticism to be a testament to his artistic acumen. There isn't a tabloid war or a public argument, but a quiet, immovable split. In Statham's universe, a movie starts with discipline and professionalism. With Leto, it starts when he puts an end to being himself. Two worlds will never occupy the same space. Number 5. Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wahlberg is a Hollywood star you either want to be friends with or avoid, and Jason Statham settled on the latter option later on. It's not because he envied Wahlberg, but because they discovered a conflict of interest they couldn't ignore. Their feud dates all the way back to The Italian Job in 2003. Even if their movie seemed slick and efficient, reality wasn't quite so polished. Statham arrived every day with a focus on stunt practice, timing, and accuracy. Wahlberg had a different tempo with a rhythm of cracking jokes, making business calls, and occasionally keeping people waiting. As Statham noted later, they were there to make a film, not run someone's brand. Additionally, Statham took exception to Wahlberg being a tough, blue-collar hero with a life of private jets. As Statham recalled, "You can't market one image with another life." Wahlberg deflected all this criticism in front of the cameras, but he did not hesitate to take a swing of his own. "He's a very intense guy, perhaps a little too intense," Wahlberg stated. "I just want to have a good time. I don't need stunt doubles to prove I'm a tough guy. I can do all this stuff myself." As one insider explained, this comment cut much deeper than any scripted punch, and Statham never forgot it. The producers attempted to reunite them for years, thinking that animosity could easily be translated into box office magic. But both actors turned down every offer. "We'd rather walk away from a big check than work with each other again," stated a source close to one of them. What's left is a chill of silent animosity. No put-downs, no apologies, just two men with no desire to cross paths with each other. Whatever chemistry existed under the lights in 2003 ended when filming did. Number 6. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Some rivalries start with an insult, some with an accident. But this one, with a Hollywood twist, started with two men simply unwilling to come out on top. As soon as they arrived on set together, it was evident this wasn't simply another action team-up. Then, in Furious 7 action, this problem simply became unavoidable. Actors in both Fast and Furious series had contracts stating that their characters, Statham's Deckard Shaw and Johnson's Luke Hobbs, never ended up on the losing side of a battle. A seemingly trivial detail in a movie script grew into a nightmare for stuntmen. Every punch, throw, and slam had to be measured with mathematical accuracy. Vin Diesel took such a problem in hand and introduced a very simple system of punches to keep everything in balance. Statham therefore joked, "This wasn't a battle, this was a negotiation. One punch for you, one punch for me." But Johnson admitted in a way that acknowledges this particular struggle in his own life. It's not an easy situation when two alphas are in the same room. They have a level of respect for each other, but this level of tension never went away. Statham thought Johnson relied too much on brawn and flash. "He thought I was being stubborn because he saw how focused I was," Statham says. "But I wasn't being stubborn. I was just working." They, as evidenced in the fate of the Furious by now, their feud had become so overt that it prompted an intervention by the film studio. Universal split them up into Hobbs and Shaw, which, although a relief to fans, is a damage control maneuver in the eyes of insiders. The only way to keep the flagship series from becoming a disaster is to keep Statham and Johnson separated. Ever since, they have come to a truce based on necessity and respect. They are not friends, they do not socialize, and they do not pretend to be otherwise. In fact, according to a member of Jason Statham's team, they do not love each other, but they do realize they need each other. And so ends this list. 6 names Jason Statham kept in mind to make sure they were not forgotten in the industry. Every feud is more than simple gossip.